What's happening? What's happening, Keish?
Hey, Uni.
What up? What up?
Not much, just glad I woke up on this beautiful day.
Is it a beautiful day? It is a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. It's not raining. The sun is shining.
Mm.
It's a lot hot, but hot, I can deal with hot.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, it's that weather's kicking in, man. That summertime, that hot Atlanta.
Listen, it's like 92 degrees.
92?
92. Okay.
That sound like swimming pool weather right there, don't it?
We need to get a swimming pool. If you get one, I'll come swim in your pool.
Oh, you definitely gonna come swim in my pool. Please believe it.
You let me come swim?
Matter of fact, I'm gonna be swimming every day of the week. Okay?
Oh, if I'm over there, are you just gonna be swimming every day of the week?
No, if you come in to swim in the pool, then I'm gonna have the pool available every day of the week.
Yeah. Let me get my two-piece ready.
I might even order, or have like a pool boy. Like, nah. Am I allowed to get a pool boy to clean the pool?
You can't.
Do I have to get a pool woman? Are there pool women?
I'll be a pool woman.
Nah, I can't have you cleaning my pool, Keish.
I would want to because I would think I'm cute out there. I'm gonna have the little pole.
Oh, with the little thing. Probably do. Man, go ahead, man. Start the episode, man. I can already see where this episode is going. I can already see where this episode is going.
All right, y'all. What's up? I am Key Nicole. Thanks so much for joining Talk to Me Truthfully. I'm available for hire for a full girl position.
Man, you're going to have everybody like, hey, I have a pool. How much you charge to come?
As long as I get to swim, but you got to pay me too. Anyway, so on this episode, let me get back into it. I'm jumping ahead of myself. For those who are listening, thanks so much for listening. And for those who are watching, thanks so much. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can catch us every time we drop something new, Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But everybody else who is joining our family, who's already in our family, we do appreciate you. Okay?
Yeah,
you are appreciated. Okay?
Most definitely.
But let's go ahead and jump on into this episode. So we talking about emotionally unavailable in a relationship.
Oh, somebody being emotionally unavailable.
Yes. So
within a relationship. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever heard of anybody use that term emotionally unavailable?
Use the term? Yes. I've heard people use that term. Yeah.
So to you, what does that mean? Like, how do you define an emotionally unavailable person?
I think being that everybody has emotions and everybody displays their emotions, I think when I hear the word emotionally unavailable, to me, it sounds like somebody who is hiding their emotions. They're keeping it from the other person. They don't want it to be shown. And for whatever reasons they're doing that, I'm sure they have their reasons. But that's what I think about when I think about somebody who's emotionally unavailable.
But do you think that a person who has emotions, and I'm just thinking about this because, I really want to know, a person who has emotions, can they be emotionally unavailable too? What you think about that?
I think unavailable to somebody else, I think it would come off, the other person would perceive it that way because they're not seeing any emotions out of that person. Like they're not showing any emotion. And so because of that, that person would say that they're emotionally unavailable. But there's no way that they can completely get rid of their emotions. Like we're human beings. Emotions are there. It's an energy that we walk around with around the clock, 24/7, 365. So, and that's why I say the person is hiding their emotions for some reason. Or an emotionally unavailable person could be a person that actually has control over their emotions. And so the other person might be like, oh, well, he really don't care or she really don't care about this. They really don't care because they're not seeing any emotion.
Right.
When really they're not
so
unavailable.
True.
It's not unavailable. It's just that some cases require the emotions to be, in the back seat.
Yeah.
Well,
you know me pretty well. I would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So knowing me, would you think that I'm an emotionally unavailable person?
No, not at all. Not at all. Your emotions is upfront and
out of control. Are they out of control?
No, I didn't say that.
The look around, y'all. The look around.
Yeah, I didn't say people. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But it was the look around for me though.
Because I don't.
Did you not look at me when you said when I asked you that question?
Because no.
I'm not gonna catch you up in that.
I ain't trying to start nothing. I ain't trying to start nothing that, no. I think you're extremely emotionally available.
Okay.
Yes, you are available emotionally. Yes.
Okay.
Somebody who would come off as somebody that's emotionally unavailable will come off cold.
Oh.
Even though, like, you could be showing emotion, like you can be emotional. It could be your emotional displaying, like your presence at the time, but you can come off as emotionally unavailable because people will perceive you as somebody who just don't give a fuck about nothing. Like you.
But what if they really don't give a fuck? Like,
it's possible. It's possible. There's people out there that really don't give a fuck about nothing. Like if you was somewhere, and I know this is a bit of a, extreme example, but I think this is the only way to kind of explain what I'm talking about to where everybody can understand. It's like if you are out somewhere and you see somebody just so happen to get killed in front of you, and you see it, and it's like, and you keep it moving.
Oh, wow. That's just like, they just cold-hearted.
But that's what I'm saying. That would be somebody who's emotionally unavailable. Like, because it's like, that doesn't mean they don't have emotions. That doesn't even mean that they didn't feel something for that person that just passed away. But for them to be able to do that, and like I said, that's why I said it's an extreme example of what I'm talking about. I just wanted people to be able to understand where I'm coming from with it. People can perceive you as emotionally unavailable based on your response to certain situations that happen around you.
I got you. Okay, cool. But like, do you think that an emotionally unavailable man is different than an emotionally unavailable woman? Because I see like it may be the same, but I don't know. What you think?
I think it's the same.
You think it might be the same?
Yeah.
But I see like, okay, it may be the same, but is it that emotionally unavailable man may have difficulty connecting with others, like through a deep conversation or sharing their emotions or being honest about their feelings?
Me personally, I wouldn't label that person as unavailable. Some people just don't really know how to have a conversation.
Yeah,
especially
but like if this
is
with like everybody, like in a relationship, like if you have trouble having conversation with a deep conversation that needs to be had, or sharing your emotions, or just anything that will show that, you in it. Can you see that person as being emotionally unavailable because they don't want to open up? And this is like with everybody. And it gets worse in the relationship.
Yeah.
Every conversation.
I think when we speak on emotionally unavailable within a relationship, I think what it comes down to is the perception of the other person.
Okay.
So it's how the other person is perceiving the the person that they're with. If you feel like, or if you're taking the way I act or the way I respond to certain things as emotionally unavailable, then to you, as far as your perception is concerned, I'm emotionally unavailable. But I might actually be available. It's just, that's how you're perceiving my actions. Like, I know for me, I don't consider myself an emotionally unavailable person. I don't
think you are.
By no means. But based on certain scenarios, certain situations, you're not going to see my emotion. And so if that person is like, damn, he should have reacted this way, or he should have reacted that way, but I didn't react that way, that person might take it as me being an emotionally unavailable person, when that really just isn't the case. So I think that's what it comes down to.
Oh, well, see, that makes sense. That makes sense. But it's like, what if a woman doesn't respond to your emotional needs or your cues? Like, would she be considered that? You know what I mean?
I would definitely take that as, well, she's emotionally unavailable. But then I would kind of categorize it too. Like, in certain situations, she's emotionally unavailable, but in other situations, her emotions are completely available.
But what if it's in every situation? Like, would you stay with that woman? Would you have a conversation with that woman? If you feel like, you know what I'm saying? She is, every time you talk to her, every time you try to open up to her, like, her emotions, like, she's not receptive to your emotional needs or cues. And the cues could be something as far as you having a conversation. Let's just say, if we dating, you having a conversation with me about something that is bothering you, that maybe I'm doing, or maybe has happened. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm just kind of dry with it. You know what I mean? At that point, when you always having those conversations and that's her response, would you have a conversation with her to be like, hey, like, what's up? Like, are you really open to hearing what I'm saying, or what's going on in your mind that all I'm getting is a, oh, okay response? Does that make sense?
Well, it does make sense. And for me, the way I would handle that, or the way I would get my answer to that, I wouldn't ask her directly. What I would do is I would take note of that, and I would keep that in mind when it comes to the next situation or the next, and that's how I would get the true answer, because she might not actually know or be aware of how she's coming off pertaining to her particular emotions. So to ask her that, I could be getting the wrong answer. But if I want the true answer, then I would just observe. I would just see, okay, am I tripping on this? Or is this something that, is what it is? And so when the next situation come up, if I see the same thing and I'm like, okay, I'm taking note. And then the next situation come up and I see the same thing. See, I make sure I do, I don't want to say the word research, but I make sure I put in the time to I guess understand what it is that I'm thinking about that particular person before I bring it to them. Because so, like, if I bring something to you, please believe this is something that I've been pondering on for a minute. This is something that I've been noticing. This is something that I've been analyzing. And it's gotten to the point where I feel like, okay, now is the time to bring it to her attention. You know what I mean? And especially something as serious as emotions, because we all have it. We can't hide it. We can, we can kind of, push it back a little bit. And I guess, let me take that back. I guess some of us can hide it, but it's a temporary hide. It's a temporary hide.
A temporary hide.
Yeah, like you can act like you don't care about something. Because like at that particular moment, somebody might say something to you, right? And it might actually hurt your feelings. but you're not going to show that it hurt your feelings.
I'm emotional. I'm gonna show it because
you know what I mean.
Kiki gonna come out.
Oh yeah, we don't want Kiki to come out. Yeah, we don't want Kiki to come out. For those of you who don't know who Kiki is like, who the hell is Kiki?
Who is Kiki?
Is she like the third host?
Listen, Kiki, she might be.
Kiki is the emotional side of Keish that is uncontrollable. Well, I don't want to say she's uncontrollable. I'm not going to say she's uncontrollable. I'm just going to say that she, it's hard to control her. Oh. You know what I mean? It's hard to, but she doesn't show herself that often.
But I think everybody has that side of them, right?
Yeah.
Like I this so. I'm going to put myself into this right here for the emotionally unavailable. Because when I get super emotional, like when I talk to somebody and I can't control it, like I don't even want to talk at all at that point. I just kind of, it goes into a defense mode. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people are like that. They just don't realize it because nobody's actually pointed that out to them. So when you have that inner you that don't want to come out, you know what I mean? It's not that you emotionally unavailable. It's just that you've got so much built up in you from whatever that you just want to shut down.
Right. And I think once people become aware of that and they realize that, they have that in them, then when they're in the middle of an emotional conversation or an emotional situation, they would be able to identify when that other person or that other entity or however you want to put it is coming out and taking control over the situation. And I personally believe that very serious situations or conversations, whatever you want to put there, emotion doesn't need to be involved. I think it needs to be as much of logic as possible because emotions can have you doing some things that you or making decisions about some things that you really shouldn't be doing, you know what I mean? Or making decisions in that state. Sometimes you might need to just say, you know what, let's come back to this.
Because
too much of my emotions are involved. Let's come back to this later after I done calm down or after I done, because a lot of people do and say some things. You ever heard somebody say, let me chill out before I say something I don't mean?
Yep.
That's what they're speaking on.
Yeah.
That's what they're speaking on.
I've said that so many times.
Yeah. They're pretty much telling you, like, look, I'm getting too emotional right now. Let me calm down because if I start speaking, like everybody knows, we all know that, when too much of the emotion comes in, we're going to be out of character.
Correct.
And that's what that is. That's who Kiki is. That's who, I have that too. I just don't have a name for him.
You don't have a name for yours?
I don't have a name for mine because mine can't be seen. If mine is seen, like for me, when my emotions get to a point that that I pretty much lose control, I see red.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, sir.
Yeah, everything turns red. Like I turn into a monster, a beast. Well, I used to when I didn't have control over that emotion. I don't do it now. I haven't seen that guy in many, 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 many years. But he's come out before. He's come out before.
Scared, and I ain't even seen that.
But key word, you remember when you said it's like a defense mechanism? Like when I get into defense mode, when I feel like somebody I love is being threatened or I'm being threatened, that's when that guy come out.
That's when he comes out.
That's when he come out. And when he come out, I'm not thinking about the laws of the land. I'm not thinking about what other people are thinking, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm thinking about the task at hand. So like if I get pushed into a particular situation where I feel like my life is being threatened or somebody else's life is being threatened, then and he comes out and I see that red, at that point, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen. And it can lead to things that would completely destroy my life. It might have me in jail for the rest of my life. It might take somebody else's life. It might.
We can't have you in jail. Okay,
I'm just saying.
We all gonna come together and get you out.
Well, I mean, hey, talk to me truthfully, family. That would be nice if y'all can, bond together to bond me out. Because I will be in jail. I will be in jail. Yeah.
We'll get him out, though.
Yeah, I will be in jail.
We be all out there rallied and stuff and get you out. He really gonna feel good then.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Now we ain't saying go, let that monster come out, but
nah. I haven't seen him in a very, very long time, and
okay, good. We're gonna keep it that way.
Yeah, I pray that I never see him.
Y'all don't cross Uni's path. You hear me? Don't try.
No, cross my path.
No, don't cross his path like that.
Uni is good. Uni the God is good,
but it might make that
just
little.
Don't bring out that. Yeah, don't come
beast.
At me on some
negative.
We
gonna call him the beast. I'm gonna call him the beast.
That's the name you giving him?
Yes, I'm giving you whatever it is.
But you've never seen him.
I don't want to see him. Why would I want to see the beast?
I'm just saying. I don't want you to see the beast.
Okay, that's what it's called. I don't ever want to see the beast. So y'all don't want to see the beast either, because
well, we're gonna call him the beast. I don't, and yeah, I don't even want to see the beast. But I think we all have like a little bit of beast in us. Whether we like to admit it or not.
You can have a little beast in you that might be good, the good beast that comes out.
Sometimes that beast need to come out, because especially with this society and the way things are going.
What's your beast?
Listen. I know what my beast is, but the beast that we talking about on this podcast, I don't want to see him. But that other beast, I see him on a regular, every day, multiple times a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh? What?
Yeah, that beast. I'm just gonna rub my mane.
Yes.
I'm just gonna rub my mane to that.
Okay.
One. Y'all see my mane?
Will that be the king of the jungle? Yeah. What is wrong with him, y'all?
I have issues. I have problems.
I am not about to deal with you today. Okay.
Hey man, you dealing. You say that every day, but you deal with me every day. So
I do.
Whatever.
I do.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Beast is in the building.
The good beast.
The good beast.
The good beast. Let's not get that misconstrued with this, whatever.
I mean, what does an emotionally unavailable person look like to you? Like, I know I explain what it looks like to me, but what does it look like to you?
I think an emotionally unavailable person to me, pretty much piggybacking off of what you said, is that, they have problems with their emotions. Like, they can't show them. And I know that if you're trying to be in a relationship with somebody, to me, I think they keep their options open. Have you ever seen people who are afraid to commit, who don't want to commit at all? Those are emotionally unavailable people, because they don't want that. They don't want that compromise with you. Okay. It goes so much deeper than just like the emotional standpoint of it. They might have relationship anxiety, which means when they get into a relationship, it like scares the out of them.
Right.
Because they know they can't be that person that you need them to be in that relationship. Some people might struggle to trust you completely. Not completely, but just have any kind of trust.
Because they feel you're emotionally unavailable?
They may be.
You know what? You're right. Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah, it would be extremely hard for me to trust somebody who's emotionally unavailable. Mm-hmm. Because there's going to be a lot of things. You don't trust nobody. Well, no, not at the beginning, no. It takes time. Like, there are people in my life that that I trust, but there's years behind. Like, my brother, my day one, like there's like almost 100% trust in those people. My father, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, it's not a large number of people that I can say that I actually trust. And because it takes time. Like, you're gonna have to put in some years for me to get, and not only years, but different situations. Like, different situations have to come up, and I have to see how you handle those situations. There's certain questions that I ask based on how you answer those questions. Are you beating around the bush? Are you direct? Are you being deceitful? Are you omitting some information? Knowing what type of question I'm asking and what I'm trying to get from you. Like, all of that plays a part in me trusting an individual. And so when you put all of that together, if you're emotionally unavailable, I don't see any of that helping towards me trusting you. Like, I probably would never trust you if you wasn't emotionally unavailable, because I need to see your emotions.
Yeah, but an emotionally unavailable person could also struggle with trust.
Yeah.
They could also struggle with trust. When, like I said, with the commitment thing, when they presented with the option to commit, they find a way to back off. Relationships can drain them, and it can feel like a job to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Attachment issues, trauma. I mean, it's just a list of things that can come with an emotionally unavailable person.
Right.
They may not want to deal with that because they know they can't deal with it. They wouldn't call themselves emotionally unavailable, because who would walk around and say, I'm an emotional unavailable person? You know what I'm saying? Right, nobody. Exactly. They're not going to call themselves emotionally unavailable, but those are some things that may point to an emotionally unavailable person. So I think a little bit of everybody might be emotionally unavailable.
So that goes back to saying what I was talking about earlier, where in some cases you're not going to allow your emotions to be available, and then in other cases your emotions might be completely available. So that comes to a question I have for you, Keish. A person that does that, which is pretty much almost everybody, I'm sure, but would you deem them an emotionally unavailable person because there are situations where they don't show their emotions, and then there's situations where they do, and you just so happen to be a person that is coming across a lot of those situations where they choose to hide or not show their emotions? Is that perception? Is that what is that?
It could be perception. It could be perception, or it could just be that they just don't trust you enough to be emotionally available to you.
Oh, so it could be the trust that they have in you on whether or not they're emotionally available.
Yeah. Trust is such a broad word. You don't have to just throw trust out there. Trust is like, throwing trust out there is just like saying I love you. You can't tell everybody I love you. Just like you can't tell everybody I trust you.
But you know what? I do. I don't mind telling people I don't know that I love them.
You can love somebody different than what you do in a relationship. As everybody on this earth, we was all supposed to be created equally. You can love everybody for them being who they are. But it's different.
Just being in existence. Being in the same boat that I'm in, which is existence. Exactly. You can love them for that.
You can love them for that. Right. Absolutely.
And I don't mind telling people that.
I know you don't. It's a difference when you actually with somebody in a relationship and you tell them that you love them, because that love comes from a different place rather than loving somebody because you can,
we're all in this together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's a total difference. So throwing that word loosely around, and when you tell somebody that you love them and you don't even know them, that's not throwing it around loosely. But it's when you're in a relationship and you just say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just
but
like
love
you
is
can't
love,
celebrate.
though.
Love is love. But
love
you
is
can
love.
love differently.
But there are different levels of love. But it is all the same. From the lowest level of love to the highest level of love, it's still love. It's just, I think because love is so broad, I guess we could say there's different spectrums of love. Let's just put it that way so people can understand, I guess, what I'm saying. Like, there's so many. Love covers all spectrums of the energy spectrum. And so it's so broad. Because I personally believe, not to be religious or spiritual, because that's not what we on, but I personally believe that love comes from a godly place. That's where love is. That's where it resides. That's where it comes from. So when you have love for somebody or you put love out there, that's where it's coming from, a very positive place. But you can also love somebody and it come from a negative place.
How so?
Because of the perception of your love based on the other person and how they're perceiving your love. Like me sitting here telling you something you don't want to hear or telling you something about yourself that you don't want to hear that actually hurts your feelings at that particular time, because your feelings was hurt, you might take that as a negative thing that I'm saying to you. And so it comes off as a negative energy to you, but it's actually coming from a place of love from me. You see what I'm saying? And so when it comes down to it, it comes down to the perception of of what you're saying based on the person that you're saying it to. Oh. That's how I see it. Yeah.
So I think that, love needs to be included in this conversation with emotionally unavailable people.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think emotions, do you have emotions without love being there?
That's a good question. No, you can't.
Is it even possible to have emotions without love?
No, you gotta actually feel it first, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get to the emotions.
Yeah. It's a part of love. Like it's because, like I said, love has like the spectrum, and maybe we should just do a episode on just love. But
that's so deep. That'll be so deep.
Yeah, and that would probably be like a multiple part series too, because
absolutely,
it's so broad. Because you can take somebody out of love for them. Like perfect example, you see a person sitting there struggling. They're struggling to live. They're in pain, right? And let's say they're on life support.
Yeah.
And you're just keeping them alive on life support. A person that loves that person would actually take them off life support, which would take their life
so they wouldn't have to
out
suffer.
of love. So they wouldn't have to suffer. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's like, when you think about it, like, how can you put love with taking somebody's life?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why I say that word love, like the spectrum is just so, and then when you think of emotions, the emotions is a part of the same spectrum that love is a part of.
That's
so it's
correct.
like it's all intertwined with each other. So yeah, we might need to go deeper into just that word love and how loosely people use it, and how well, let me say this, Keish. Do emotionally unavailable people fall in love? Can they fall in love if you're emotionally unavailable?
Lord Jesus. Look, I done hit my microphone.
Yeah, I heard it.
I done hit my microphone because I believe...
She done hit the mic, y'all.
I was trying to
I knew you was gonna do that.
For a lack of better words, I would say an emotionally unavailable person can fall in love. They just they do it in a way that, how can I really explain this? Where they don't have to really show the emotions. They can use the word I love you because everybody can love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just because that person tells you, and this may be using it loosely, I'm in love with you, that other person can feel overjoyed. So they won't see the emotional unavailability that they have. But yeah, definitely an emotional unavailable person definitely can fall in love because they do have feeling. They just don't know how to express those feelings or how to show those emotions.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Got you. Yeah,
Lord, yes.
I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Or they can just say it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. If they're emotionally unavailable, can they change?
I think if they're around the right person, or if they're around the right people, you know, they will
takes time, though, right?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, that's not something you can just hit a switch and be, because there's a reason why they're emotionally unavailable. There's probably some deep-rooted reasons on why they're emotionally unavailable. It could be some childhood trauma. It could be something that they went through as a child. It could be, I'm not a professional in the field of psychology, and I'm not a therapist, but I do know that there's a reason behind you being emotionally unavailable.
Absolutely.
And it's probably going to take some help to get to the roots of that issue, because to me, showing emotion is a natural thing that you're just going to do naturally, just as a human being. And so if you're walking around as a person that isn't showing any emotion, like that's... There's something there,
right?
There's something that needs to,
So that would be it would be okay to say that if you're an emotional unavailable person, that you may have it may be a mental cause behind it.
Yeah. Maybe. I would say so. I would say that there's something going on in your mind, some type of trauma or some type of I don't even know what other word to put there besides that, but something happened either to you or in front of you, to somebody else that you love. Something happened that caused you to become this emotionally unavailable person.
Oh, that's so good.
You're not going to be surrounded by love and surrounded by people who are showing emotions to you around the clock from the time you was born up to you being an adult, to become emotionally unavailable.
Oh, that
if
is
anything,
so good.
You was probably around people who wasn't showing you love. People who wasn't,
like you said, childhood trauma or something like that.
Yeah. It probably started at a young age, and it was something that might have continued to happen. And then there might not have been anybody to step in to show you the opposite side of things. You know what I mean? But see, you could show your emotions in so many different ways. That's why it's so broad, because somebody.
So how would somebody who's emotionally unavailable show their emotions? Like, how do you do that? Like,
you can show your emotions through your actions, and how you're treating people. Like bullies, for instance, like in high school, everybody knows a bully in high school. I'm not saying everybody has been bullied, because okay, cool.
I was bullied.
I don't think I was ever bullied, but there were some people that I was afraid of when I was younger that wanted to, I wouldn't say they never picked on me, but they were just scary. Yeah. It was like, man, I ain't gonna mess with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think bullies would be a good example of somebody who may be emotionally unavailable, but showing their emotions. That's why they're picking on people.
That's why they
like when they
picking on
walk around,
people.
when they're walking around just like I'm the big. See, that's showing emotion.
Man, that's good.
That's showing emotion.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, so
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. And
no,
finish.
I was just that was it. I was just gonna say that sometimes your actions will show emotion, even though you're emotionally unavailable.
But you know, and I was reading up on this too, like when I picked this
topic.
Mm-hmm. Because
that's why you're the producer. You know what I mean?
A person who is emotionally unavailable might have low self-esteem, because we know that bullies, when they pick on you, the 9 times out of 10, the reason why they're doing it is because they feel some way about themselves. So they go and they try to pick on somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they might have body image issues. So they gonna tease the next person for being too skinny or being too big. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because when I was bullied, it was because I was super skinny.
Mm-hmm.
I was super skinny and I was tall. Mm-hmm. Those were the main reasons why I was bullied. And I noticed that the people that was doing it might have been bigger, and their outside image was different than what mine was.
Got you.
Job instability, addiction, mental health issues. Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that up with what you were saying, like the bullying part. But yeah, it is, that definitely makes a lot of sense on why they're emotionally unavailable, and they show it because of things like that.
I think there's situations like with me personally where I can't allow my emotions to get involved. Like, it might sound kind of crazy for me to say this, but there's situations that could arise that would have me completely shut my emotions down.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what? Like what could make you shut your emotions down? Because I know that, when you talk, me and you talk, we have conversations. Like you really like be going in depth with a lot of stuff. Like you show your emotions. See, like I've seen some emotions. But what would make you?
I'm all emotion. Like I'm everything, even from, when I'm talking, it like, and that's why I kind of talk the way I talk. I talk with passion. I talk with emotion because it's just a part of who I am. But sometimes you have to shut that down. Because you might be in a scenario where emotions just don't need to be there. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, like I was talking about earlier, it's like almost kind of like the opposite, really, of what I was talking about earlier, or not the opposite, but the other side of things. Like, when I was talking about seeing red, when I get into protect mode and I turn the beast, that'll come out. That's all emotion taking over, and that's what I don't want to see, right? I can be pushed there, but I don't want to see that. So that would also be, the other side of that would be the way I would contain that beast.
Because you recognize it.
Because I recognize the beast is either trying to come out, or this is a situation that can bring that beast out. I don't need that beast to come out. So now I have to completely shut down my emotions to deal with this particular situation logically.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Sense.
And I have, and it takes practice. That's not something that you're going to be able to just do. You have to be put in those situations. You have to be aware, for one, that
that's a good word for that.
Yeah,
you have to be aware.
To be aware. And you have to be aware, and this is the key point. You have to be aware in real time. Like at that moment.
But what if you don't know
hardest part?
That you're not emotionally unavailable unless somebody points it out to you?
Well, that's just it. That's why there's a lot of people that go off the hinge because they wasn't aware. Like they'll go off the hinge and they'll do some stuff because they let that beast out in my case. Or in your case, they let Kiki out. You know what I mean? Because they might not be aware of it at that particular moment. And they might not have had enough practice containing that emotion in those particular scenarios. Like you really don't know what you're capable of doing until you get in that particular scenario and actually go through it.
So,
you know,
do you remember a couple episodes back when we was talking about self-reflection?
Right. Self-inventory.
Okay. Self-inventory.
Like doing your self-inventory.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So a person who is emotionally unavailable, I believe that they are capable of change, but they have to self-reflect on what it is that they've done or how they are reacting when they are speaking to somebody or talking to somebody. If you're not able
in a particular situation,
or put in a particular situation, you have to self-reflect in order to get that process going to become emotionally available for whomever you are with, or even in a friendship, because it happens in friendships too.
Yeah,
not just
it happens in
everything,
type
every
of
situation.
relationship, right?
Every situation, it happens,
and not to cut you off, it's almost kind of like telling somebody not to touch that fire, and they've never been burnt before.
Exactly.
That's
you
what
won't
it comes
know
down
until,
to. You really won't know, and so you have to kind of go through a situation where that, whatever you want to call it, comes out. And then somebody that you have respect for, somebody that you have love for, somebody that you value their opinion on has to point that out to you and say, hey, look, this is what it is. This is where you lost it, or this is, and then you would have to go back, like you said, and reflect on that and see like, oh man, maybe I did. That wasn't, because we've all been in situations before, Keish, where we've done something in the heat of the moment. And then when it was all said and done, we was like, damn, why did I do that?
Why did I do that? Why did I blow up like that?
Why did I blow up like that? And it's not that you did it, it's your emotions that took over that did it. Your emotions, you know what I mean? And so, yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't have people in our lives that could get us to that point of awareness. And so sometimes we have to become aware of it ourselves.
Right.
And the only way you're going to be able to become aware of that is if you do your own personal self-inventory, self-reflection, and that's why I do it every single day.
This is probably the reason why they say that most people who are emotionally unavailable don't change. This is probably the number one reason why they say that they just don't change, is because they don't have those people like you and I may have who is going to point out what it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
Because we can do something so long, even if it did come from childhood trauma, and we not know it until somebody says, hey, what are you doing? Like,
and it has to be somebody that they love and respect and trust what they're saying too. So we got to add that to it too, because somebody probably already told them that. Somebody probably told them like, but they ain't listening because like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? It has to be somebody that they love, respect, and trust. And unfortunately, in this society, all of us aren't walking around with somebody that we respect or trust their opinion or their words. And it's sad, but that's why there's a lot of people in jail right now. That's why there's a lot of people that's dead right now because of that fact.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's unfortunate.
So true. That
is unfortunate.
So true. But some people who are like that, who are not available emotionally, ghost you. Have you ever seen that? Let's just think about that for a second.
Okay.
People who struggle with their own personal lives or got something going on, or who care about themselves and who are not available to other people, they may ghost them. Yeah. They might not be there
They're ghosting them because
they're emotionally unavailable. They don't know what to do in that situation.
Oh, so are you saying like their emotions is starting to get involved, and that's why they ghost them?
They
run. Because they don't know how to deal. Yeah.
Yes, they run. They cut that person off. They can't support their partner's emotional need, so they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They like, if I can't handle it, if I don't know what to do, then I'm gonna just back off. I'm just gonna back off and I'm gonna ghost you until I'm ready to resurface. And then by the time you resurface, it's like, when I needed you, like, where was you at?
Right. At the time where it was, I'm with you. I'm with you.
In relationships, I've been in relationships where I wouldn't have necessarily used what we talking about, emotionally unavailable, because I didn't know about the emotional unavailability. Mm-hmm. But I remember that my grandmother passed away and he was gone. Like, when I needed him the most, he was not there. And that hurt me to the core. I'm like,
the person you was with wasn't there?
Yeah, the person I was with, he just wasn't there. He was gone for, like, I promise you, like 2 days.
Oh, just left? Like, he physically gone?
Like, he physically left. Like, and then, like, 2 days later, he came back. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, my grandmother died. Like, he was like, oh, I had some stuff to do. And, what? Like, what?
Oh, yeah, he definitely wasn't there for you. Nah.
Like, when your mother passed away, like, I was there. Like, this is the difference between you and I. It was just, I couldn't wrap my mind around, like, why, and this is why.
Yeah. And and something like that, it's unfortunate that you had to go through that, especially at a time where you needed that, that extra strength, that extra, words that could, get you through such a tough time. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are currently in relationships right now where they're not getting the proper amount of assistance. They're not getting the proper amount of support that they may need because that person might not be emotionally available for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And let me make this clear. Let me talk to my people. A person that isn't emotionally available doesn't mean that they're not emotionally available. It could just mean that they're not emotionally available for you.
For you. Mm-hmm.
They might be emotionally available for somebody else, but they're not emotionally available for you. So when it comes down to it, it's not if the person is emotionally available or not. Is the person emotionally available for you? Right. I just want to put that out there for the people, man.
Or could it be that they're emotionally available, but they just not that into you? Would that be the same thing?
Same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah. Same difference. Yeah. Wow. They're not into you. They're not feeling you. They're not, so their emotions isn't tied up. Because there's certain things that go on in society right now that some people might put all of their emotion into, And for me, it's like, I don't give a about that. Ain't none of my emotions tied up in that.
But you know what I think too? That if a person is emotionally unavailable, they show their love and the way that they care about you by spending money on you and buying you things just to show that they care.
Well, that might be all that they have. That might be all that they know. Like they, some people just don't like if you're not raised around people showing emotion, where, and this kind of ties into, the mothers being in the picture or the fathers being in the picture. Like, it ain't no secret. I said it on one of the episodes. My mother wasn't in my life growing up. But I'm still, even though I wasn't getting any emotion from my mother, I'm still emotionally available. You see what I'm saying? But in some case, and that's because of my father. But in some cases, there's some people who
That don't have anything.
may not have had the other parent in their household, and they ended up becoming emotionally unavailable because they've never witnessed any type of emotion from anybody in a positive light. You know what I mean? And that's why I say most people who are emotionally unavailable, it's probably some childhood trauma or something that they've went through, you know, that has them like that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
But what about if like your parents sheltered you? And it was just them. They wouldn't let you go out and do stuff. Could that be something that makes somebody emotionally unavailable?
I think it could, but I know like my day one, like, you know, the woman that's been there since, you know, I like to say since day one, like she was what I would like to call sheltered. And she was the only child, and she wasn't able to really get out there. There was even shows and certain TV shows that she wasn't even able to watch, you know, because of that sheltered, you know what I mean? But she's completely emotionally available. You see what I'm saying? In other cases, I think it could create something in somebody where, because they wasn't able to get out and experience emotions being sent to them, they would become emotionally unavailable. And so, like in her case, clearly she was getting emotion from, you know, her mother, her family, you know, and enough of it because she didn't become emotionally unavailable. So I'm thinking somebody who's sheltered, somebody who's not able to go out and experience society, if they're getting enough of it within that sheltered place to where it doesn't cut off their emotions to the public, I think, you know, in those cases, it would be okay. Or it, you know, but I can see it also being, it just really depends on the person and what they're receiving, you know, on a daily basis, on a regular basis.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Well, I think I done learned a lot from this episode, and I hope a lot of people learned a lot about emotional unavailable people and emotional availability.
Right. And I also want people to know that well, before I go there, I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your closing on this particular topic, Keish.
I just want everybody to realize and recognize the different things that come with a person who is actually emotionally unavailable. Please go back and just re-listen to some of the key points and things that we've pointed out to you all. That way, you can recognize it if you have any notion that that person that you're dating or you're with is emotionally unavailable. I think it's really important to know that, because there's no reason to get too comfortable with that person if they're not willing to change how they are when it becomes being emotionally available for you.
And what I would say to what we were speaking about today is emotion is pretty much like the key element of this reality that we're in, because it's energy. Emotion is nothing but energy. And y'all know how I am. Everything is energy to me. Everything is emotion. And so if you're in a position where you're cutting that emotion off from especially a relationship, the person you're supposed to be building with, then there is a problem there. There's an issue that needs to be resolved. If you're with somebody and they just so happen to mention that you're emotionally unavailable, don't disregard that person. Don't disregard what they're saying to you, because they may actually be telling you something that you can, um, resolve, something you can fix that will make you a better person in society, a better person for yourself, your family, your friends. And, just take note of it. I'm not saying that they would be right or wrong in that particular case, but if you've heard that before, if somebody has told you that you're an emotionally unavailable person, at least look into it. At minimum, look into it and see if that's what it is, or if that person was tripping or not. And you might just find that, you know what, in some cases you are emotionally unavailable, and it might be okay for you to be emotionally unavailable in that particular case. But when it's all said and done, take everything you hear from the people that you're around and, do your self-inventory. See if what they're saying, holds water.
Self-reflect, self-reflect.
Yeah.
Self-reflect.
Hey, Keish, once again, man, you know what you do, man. You come up with these episodes, and this was a really good topic, man. Emotionally unavailable in a relationship. Please, everybody, make sure you subscribe, like, comment,
and share.
Share all of the above. And you can reach me at all social media platforms at UnidaGod. That's UNIDAGOD. Keish.
And you can reach me on all platforms at Lakey Nicole, LAKEYNICHOLE. Thanks so much for joining us today.
And let me say this. You can also contact us on our email directly at talktometruthfullyinquiries@gmail.com. That's talktometruthfullyinquiries@gmail.com. And hey, man, it's been one of those days, Keish.
That's right. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed and join us every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.
Every Friday at 4. Please join. Please tune in. Holla.
Bye.